I won't be commenting further about this because honestly, it's baseless. So I just want to this is it. This is all I'm going to say. I'm done. The lawsuit is going to go nowhere. Anyone that claims it's a decent lawsuit knows nothing about the law. This is one of many lawsuits I've gone through. And also anyone that claims that I'm always getting sued, that's part of this world. Because of the type of work I do, I cover a lot of cults and they like to sue. And I also cover a lot of criminals that are narcissists and they also like to sue. And so when you are reporting on narcissists, their big defense is intimidation through legal threats. So that's just how it works. I don't look at a lawsuit as it's going to end me because none of them ever have.
Hi beautiful people, happy hump day. Hope you guys are doing well. I cannot believe how fast these days are going by. I have an update about Without a Crystal Ball, aka Katie Joy. This is going to be a very long video, so I suggest you guys get some snacks or put on those headphones and listen while you clean, cook, or whatever else. For the past 4 years, she has been involved in a defamation lawsuit with Robert Shinn, James, and Miranda Derrick. She has always stated that this lawsuit is frivolous, but things seem to be moving along. Last week, the defendants did file a notice of motion and motion to amend complaint. Within the new amended complaint, there are over 200 statements they feel is defamatory to the defendants, and they seem to have dotted all their I's and crossed all their T's, compared to the original complaint, which only had, and I want to say, between 60 and 80 defamatory claims according to them. If you are interested in listening to the recent filings, I am going to link Southern Mutton's YouTube channel down below, and she did go over the new amended complaint. Even if you are just interested in any aspect of this case, she does go over all the filings and she does an amazing job. On Monday, Katie Joy and the defendants had to appear in court in Minnesota for a pre-trial hearing. And after the hearing, Without a Crystal Ball made this post. Robert Shinn, Miranda, and James Derrick were in Minnesota today for a pre-trial hearing related to their lawsuit against me. Despite clear anti-SLAPP laws, his attorney told the judge that all my statements about the federal investigation against him will be deemed ongoing defamation. I won't be silenced or intimidated. I have done nothing wrong and will continue to report on the case. I am not the cause of the investigation, nor am I a danger to anyone in the situation. She says, video coming soon. I will not be silenced. This is not Without a Crystal Ball's first rodeo in regard to being sued for defamation. This is her 7th or 8th lawsuit, but this case is her 3rd that has gone to court. Side note, as you can see, Without a Crystal Ball herself said that being sued is like a badge of honor. So anyway, moving forward. Now, what I will never understand Without a Crystal Ball, she never seems to learn from past experiences. Because I remember when she was sued by Tati and James Westbrook. First of all, she was very confident that they would never sue her.
Here's the thing why I know they're never going to sue me. They're never going to sue me because the discovery for me would be terrible for them. If they were going to sue me, it would have already happened. When they sent me 4 cease and desists.
Several months later.
There was a suit filed in court, yes.
When things began to feel realistic, she sat on her live on YouTube and cried about how that money that she is spending on attorney's fees was supposed to be for her son.
And it's hard to watch my channel just fall apart. It's been the biggest thing and the most important thing to me. It's watching people no longer watch and click on my videos when I'm working so hard. It's like watching your dreams fall apart. Knowing that the money that you're now spending on legal fees was supposed to be for your child. It's it's so overwhelming. And
Without a Crystal Ball ended up settling her lawsuit to Tati, and then she was sued by Todd Chrisley because she inserted herself in their family drama. She claimed that she was protecting her best friend Lindsay Chrisley, and she even reported Todd Chrisley to authorities for witness intimidation because she felt that Todd had no right to be in contact with his daughter Lindsay because she was a witness for the state in his case. Again, she settled with Todd Chrisley and they both came to an agreement that they would not speak about each other, their businesses, or their families. Well, Without a Crystal Ball did not hold up to her end of the agreement because the day Todd Chrisley surrendered himself to prison, she made this post. FYI, Todd Chrisley was serving his time in Pensacola, Florida. And as you can see, welcome to Florida, the Sunshine State. Welcome to the newest resident to Florida, staying for 12 years. Today is a good day to celebrate the end of a nightmare. P.S. I was right. Todd and Julie Chrisley were given pardons and then released, and I do believe that Todd Chrisley has been making queries about Without a Crystal Ball shenanigans and breaking their agreement. Without a Crystal Ball moved on to reporting on a story about a young lady, Miranda Derrick, whose family made a video asking for help because they felt that their daughter was in a cult. Without a Crystal Ball became attached to this family and still attached to this family till this day, and she made a promise to this family, and that promise was that she was going to return their daughter Miranda back to them. This story started gaining traction, and Without a Crystal Ball felt that she was the head bitch in charge when it came to the story. She was in contact with someone who actually attended Robert Shinn's church named Lydia Chung, and she eventually sued Robert Shinn. Who was Robert Shinn? Robert Shinn was a pastor of a church called Shekinah Church in California, and this lady actually attended that church. A few years later, she did leave. So, in turn, this lady, Lydia Chung, shared her story and the court records from when she sued Robert Shinn. Those court records are sealed, but she shared it with Without a Crystal Ball. And in turn, Without a Crystal Ball read these court documents on a live. And the story that this woman relayed to Without a Crystal Ball about her experience with Robert Shinn and the church, which she also included in her lawsuit. And unfortunately, she lost her lawsuit. In turn, everything that Without a Crystal Ball learned from Lydia Chung and her experience, as I said, with Robert Shinn, she superimposed those allegations onto the female dancers who are now affiliated to 7M Management Company owned by Robert Shinn. These dancers also attended Robert Shinn's church. Without a Crystal Ball accused Robert Shinn of sex trafficking, accused him of running his church like North Korea, accused him of waterboarding, accused him of immigration fraud, accused him of running people off the road with his car, and that's just to name a few.
Robert and his sexual harassment, she wouldn't have sex with him, so he put her on restrictions and told her she couldn't go anywhere, took her car, took her phone, took everything, and she had to escape in the middle of the night because she felt like you guys were going to kill her. I mean, Robert, I haven't even brought up your immigration fraud. What about all the green cards and the green card marriages? And then using those marriages, forcing people into these marriages, and then using that over their heads. You know, it's also a crime to orchestrate these types of marriages, Robert.
Oh, and she also challenged Robert Shinn to sue her.
You're not going to sue anyone. If you sue me, everything comes out, and that's not a threat. That's just literally the truth, and you don't want that.
And the reason I gave you guys context was because after Without a Crystal Ball appeared in court facing these people who are suing her for defamation, she made a video lying to her followers and had the audacity to ask her followers for help with legal fees. She does say no obligation. Again, the least she could have done was tell her followers the truth instead of lying. And why is she burdening her audience with this? Haven't they helped enough? They have made her a millionaire over the years. She has told all of social media how she has made millions on YouTube. When she was on a live, she read out a message that she sent to another creator, and she was saying how she told this creator how she made millions on YouTube. And she even stated, as you will hear, her saying how this creator can show you her financials that she sent her. And all that was because she was seeking help from this content creator to get back in good graces with Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
I'm telling her that my channel's grossed millions. That's true. This is my channel, Bree. My channel has grossed millions in revenue. This is coming from experience. I did show her my revenue. So if she wants to show you my revenue, you guys can see it. But it is a couple million. Actually, I actually have intentionally scaled back on my videos because of the taxes I was paying and the toll it was taking on me. That's true. When you make a lot of money, you have to pay a lot of taxes and there's a lot of stress.
So why is she e-begging? Anyways, let's move on to her video.
Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. Well, this morning I had to attend a court hearing because I was ordered to attend a pretrial hearing for a lawsuit that's been filed against me in the state of Minnesota related to my reporting on a pastor/business owner named Robert Shinn and his church, Shekinah Church, and his management company, 7M, along with dancers that have been impacted and have spoken out in a Netflix series about Robert Shinn.
I apologize for stopping so soon, but I just wanted to make this clear. Katie Joy, aka Without a Crystal Ball, has been sued by 7M, which is Robert Shinn, Miranda, and James Derrick. She is not being sued by Shekinah Church. Two totally different entities.
Robert Shinn is suing me and claims that I have alleged falsehoods against him. He claims that I've defamed him by reporting on public stories happening on Instagram. He claims that I have defamed him by publicly reporting on court records. And his attorney today told the court that she needs to protect him from me. In court, his attorney also told the judge that I have never cited any sources or provided any information for where I get my information, which is categorically false. In fact, my observation from sitting in court today was that this was not about defamation. Honestly, I felt more like it was about chilling the speech of an independent journalist, chilling the speech of someone that's concerned about the public being impacted by someone that could or could not have allegations against them, not defaming anyone, not accusing him of anything, because I haven't been part of his church. I've never been in his proximity until today. I didn't realize how short he was until today.
Without a Crystal Ball is claiming that she is reporting on public stories happening on Instagram. Part of that is true because remember I told you guys that Miranda's family did an Instagram live asking for help. But then again, Without a Crystal Ball is the one that used Instagram to say that Robert Shinn is sex trafficking. She used Instagram to get brands to stop working with these dancers and so much more. I will have links to videos and other channels who have covered this. Most importantly, if you go over and watch Southern Mutton's video, which I will have linked in the description box, where she went over the plaintiff's recent filings, where they include over 200 statements made by Without a Crystal Ball that they think is defamatory, and you can make up your own mind. She took to her Instagram to torment and bully these dancers, especially Miranda.
They're given wardrobes that they don't pick out, and the wardrobe that Miranda is given is a suit that has a hole right in the crotch. And it's really sad that they keep putting her in clothing that has holes. This is the second time in as many weeks that they put her in a suit with a hole. It's not uncommon for influencers or talent agencies to rent clothing, but it is uncommon to make their talent wear ripped clothing, especially in an area like that. All these videos are doing is just showing everyone how much their videos are controlled and dictated by what Robert tells them to do. And it's honestly just sad.
She reported on records that were sealed, and that is mentioned in the court filings. What do you say when somebody sits on a live and calls another man a rapist?
He's a serial rapist, okay? He's a serial rapist.
She says that with no proof, no convictions. Isn't that slander? The same thing as defamation. If the plaintiff's attorney stated that she had not handed over her sources, she seems to be sticking with the fact that she doesn't need to hand over her sources. The court did not rule that she is protected by journalistic privilege. Without a Crystal Ball is manipulating her audience. She is lying to her audience. She is playing on their feelings, since she has been covering the Baldoni Lively lawsuit and the wrong that has been done to Baldoni. So in turn, she's making it seem as if the same thing that's happening to Baldoni is happening to her, when in reality, in my opinion, what Blake Lively is doing to Justin Baldoni Without a Crystal Ball is doing to the plaintiffs. So her report back from what happened in a pre-trial hearing wasn't her letting her audience know that she feels confident because she knows that she did no wrong, or that she can't wait for a day in court because she knows she didn't do anything wrong. No, she decided to attack the plaintiff's stature. She tried to humiliate him. Whereas if Katie Joy was innocent and she knows she did no wrong, she would not have the need to deflect.
I didn't realize that he was not much taller than me until today. I didn't realize that he looks very much his age of 67 or 68 years old. I didn't know until today that his wife is a lot younger than him. I knew it on paper, but seeing them face to face, it was very obvious because she's my age. I also saw Miranda Derrick and James Derrick in the flesh. They deleted their Instagrams last summer, or they deactivated them and deleted their TikTok. Today's hearing was about spoilating of evidence because we are concerned that they have deleted evidence that would be helpful to my defense. And their removal of their social media, they have told a court, is because I am the problem and I'm harassing them because I have been publicly covering a very widely publicized story about a pastor in California named Robert Shinn. If you haven't seen the Netflix docuseries Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok Cult, the series was made in connection with Dirty Robbers and WVE Entertainment with Wilmer Valderrama, and it featured family members of individuals inside, including Kelly and Dean Wilking, Melanie Wilking, who you saw in the very beginning of this video, former members that were dancers, Kylie Douglas, Aubrey Fisher, Kevin Davis, his girlfriend Kalia, who was not a dancer but was a videographer that was within this church. You also heard from two sisters, Melanie and Priscilla, one who left the church in 2011 and another who left in the spring of 2022.
What does Robert Shinn's wife's looks or age have to do with anything? Talking about Robert Shinn's wife, Hannah Shinn, someone reached out to Without a Crystal Ball, and Katie Joy thought it was Hannah. And this is how unprofessional Without a Crystal Ball is. He claims that she is an independent journalist. She should actually be ashamed of herself. She thought that she was communicating with Robert's wife, Hannah Shinn. Oh, Hannah, it must be so hard to be as evil as you are. This person responds, did you miss me? To which Katie Joy responds, Hannah, it's time to turn yourself into prison. Or maybe just drive your elderly husband to the police station and have him turn himself in for alleged rape. I hear that your assault of Priscilla will be discussed in the series. Did you feel good about beating a woman? This is my house. These are my things. I'm the woman of God. Isn't that what you said as you battered Pri? Are you too busy forging checks and stealing money to answer? I heard that federal prison isn't Club Med. Is Miranda giving massages yet? What's it like to be an accomplice to rape and sex trafficking? Do you enjoy saying sucking on your mama's titties? I notice you are 45 now. Aren't you getting kind of close to menopause and all for Robert's taste? No comment? I'm so sad. I guess you are reading your daily emails and cursing out the woman you control, submit, or else, right? What's it like knowing your husband is constantly cheating on you? Is it weird that you are the fourth woman of God? Do you have to get tested for STIs? Do you ever get yeast infections because of all the sexual assaulting your husband is doing outside of marriage? My buddies say you love to argue, but now you are quiet. Are you tired from all your tongue speaking? Will it hurt your lawsuit when Robert is heard saying that he wants to be famous and says that he is famous? To which this person says, please stop. And Katie Joy responds, are you sad, Hannah? It's so unlike you to not argue. To which this person responds, I am not Hannah. Katie Joy, yeah, okay. I mean, it makes sense you would not want to answer questions admitting to crimes. Conrad posted that you are going to swindle all of Robert's money and leave him. He thinks you are evil. Conrad also thinks his dad is probably a rapist. To which this person responds, are you drunk? My time zone isn't even in California. Katie Joy, nope, totally sober. Are you drunk? Or are you too busy rebuking people? You must be drunk because no one asked you about your time zone. And this person responds, have you been hacked? To which Katie responds, have you been hacked? Miranda and James did not delete their social media. Don't you think it'll be dumb of them to delete their social media of 4-5 million followers? All they did was deactivated their social media because of all the harassment and bullying and abuse because, in my opinion, of Katie Joy. And I followed Katie Joy in regard to the story from the get-go. The hatred and the harassment and the bullying that filled their comment section was astounding, especially after the docuseries came out. Talking about docuseries, without a crystal ball, when this docuseries was happening, she claimed that docuseries. She stated on a live that she has a production company. She said that she was in the meeting with Netflix when they pitched this docuseries to Netflix. She said in a video that she could have never done this docuseries if it wasn't for Wilmer Valderrama.
I would not have been able to do this project without Wilmer Valderrama's production company and his executive producer, Jessica. This is coming to Netflix on May 29th, 2024. I have been working on this series since the inception of this. I've been there the whole time.
Allegedly, these dancers that Katie Joy speaks about only left the management company after they were confronted by ex-members of the church about the percentage of money that Robert Shinn was taking from them. This all happened when there was talks of a docuseries being made. Also, side note, I noticed at the end, Without a Crystal Ball did not name the other sister, who is Melanie. Melanie is not a fan of Katie Joy. She actually responded to someone on Instagram when she was asked about Katie Joy. And Melanie responded with, I had very little interaction with her and was not a big fan of her either. Unfortunately, her involvement was beyond my pay grade. She has done more damage than good, in my opinion.
There were the Wilkins, Kelly and Dean Wilkin, along with Nicholas Riano's parents that were featured as well. And there was a woman that appeared on camera, but her face was blurred. And that's just a small percentage of the individuals that were included. They shared their stories of their experiences within this church in the series. Separately, and as a part of that series, you see that a group of them got together to sue Robert. You also in the series see that 3 of the women filed police reports against Robert for SA or battery. At no time in my reporting have I accused Robert of doing anything to me. He has never SA'd me. He's never physically harmed me. He has really only just been in court accusing me of things that I haven't done, in my opinion, to silence me. And in court today, it was interesting because I felt like I was in the Baldoni and Blake Lively case where his attorneys attempted to claim that anything that I say publicly moving forward, they will use against me. They will claim that my defamation for speaking about a public story is ongoing. When I have again never accused Robert Shinn of anything, I've only reported on what others have shared. I've pointed you to the Netflix series. I helped and worked on the Netflix series as an archival consultant, providing legal documents and references and legal records to document the claims that were made. Robert is being sued in California by a group, and that group is accusing him of counts of human trafficking. There's forced labor accusations. There are allegations of coercion, unjust enrichment, breaches of some sort of implied covenant or a contract. And I'm just going off the top of my head here. But since his attorneys told a judge today in Minnesota that I don't provide sources or have never provided sources, let me just read to you a few pieces of information about this lawsuit. The factual allegations state that Robert refers to himself as the man of God and preaches to Shekinah members that without submitting to him and without Shekinah, their lives will be cursed. Robert required full physical and economic and control over Shekinah members. They allege he exerted this control directly and through members of Shekinah that were referred to as mentors, and then those mentors are named, which include Hannah, Matthew, and Isaiah Shinn, Shirley Kim, Chloe Shinn, and Daniel Joseph. And then he has sub-mentors that they claim are a part of this, which is like Jenny, Chrissy, Abe, and Lemuel. They claim that Robert's wife was referred to as the woman of God. Cross-defendant Shirley Kim was considered the woman of God through 2009, and in 2010, Hannah became the woman of God. This title gave Shirley and Hannah certain privileges among Shekinah members that no one else had. They allege that his mentors and deputies did his bidding, including collecting tithes of other members, moving money from members' bank accounts, instructing members where to live, and instructing members on how to spend nearly every waking moment of their time. They allege that women and men were kept separate most of the time and had separate Bible meetings almost every day. Shekinah members attended sermons by Robert on Wednesdays and Sundays. He would preach that members should tell him everything, even things that they would not tell their own wife or husband. They allege that Robert lives a life of luxury from the tithes he collects from Shekinah members. Most of his wealth was built on the backs of free labor or excessive fees from Shekinah members, including cross-complainants. Meanwhile, most of these cross-complainants worked on small monthly allowances, were only allowed to eat food provided by Shekinah, and were only allowed to make purchases approved by Shekinah. Many had secondhand or gifted other items by Shekinah, Robert, or other mentors. All of the Shekinah Cross-complainants were required to give 10% of their income to Shekinah, a tithe that Robert and the mentors told them would support the church. In calling this donation 10% of tithe, Robert and the mentors implied this money would be used to support the church, such as through maintenance of church buildings, funding church programs, or supporting other members in the religious institutions. If they did not give their tithes, Robert yelled at them or threatened consequences. Robert encouraged them to give more than 10% by saying the more that you give, the more you'll receive. Tithe is the minimum. You must one day get to a place, give all of your money, time, and body and heart. Robert said this frequently during sermons, and in 2022, this changed to Tuesday nights and Saturday. Among things that he would tell them are, if you don't tithe, you will not go to heaven. God hates people that don't tithe. Therefore, you are cursed and God cannot protect you from harm. If you tithe, you are a child of Satan. Therefore, you are demonic. Submit all your finance to your assigned mentor. They allege these statements were made once or twice a week in sermons. So with all the money that they were getting, which they claim was 30% of their income, 10% tithe, 10% in cash to Robert, a man of God, which they believe he did not report as income, and misclassifying it as a donation, and then including mentors, Matthew and Shirley told Shekinah members that they had to give the man of God a cash box, 10% of more strictly in cash, and an additional 10% offering. He stated multiple times in service that those who are committed to God donate 100% of their income, and that was how one entered heaven. Robert and Shekinah would claim that the monetary donations were used to do God's work. Meanwhile, Robert and his mentors lived lavish lifestyles, and the tax documents provided to the members at the end of the year each year were inaccurate, missing thousands of dollars that were given to Robert and Shekinah. Hannah, who controlled the accounts of many of the members, including Alicia Lee, would write checks to Shekinah and Robert, but the checks were never reflected in the members' tax returns or offerings. Now, that's like a very high level of it. And then each individual that's a part of this lawsuit has individual claims. Okay. And all of these are allegations. They have to be able to prove this at trial. Alicia Lee, who was featured in the documentary, it's the Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, her allegations are heartbreaking if you take them as fact. So if you believe what she says and the evidence that she...
Did she really say that she has not accused Robert Shinn of doing anything to her? Listen to this. Our rights to speak are under attack daily. For 3.5 years, I have been fighting Robert Shinn. I have become a shell of myself. After the documentary was released on Netflix, I was swatted, doxxed, and relentlessly harassed by Shinn supporters. This has resulted in me becoming fearful to leave my home. For over a year, I have spent the bulk of my life in my home, afraid to go out. Why? Because Shinn engaged supporters local to me to essentially stalk me, driving past my home, taking photos of my house, contacting police and CPS with false allegations, and sending locals to the courthouse to any hearing we have. The intimidation and threats have put me under immense stress and anxiety. Despite my multiple reports to the FBI and local law enforcement, nothing was done. Now that Shinn has finally become the target of the feds and is under a grand jury investigation, my PTSD from last summer has peaked. I'm nervous, on edge, and dealing with a lot of fear. All of this to say, Robert Shinn has many victims. I am one of his victims. I hope for relief when he is finally arrested and indicted. And I hope the judge throws out this case against me.
I have been reporting on 7M for 2 years and 3 months. In that time, I have been sued, I have been slandered, I have been smeared, and I have been attacked by accounts that Robert Shinn is using to run a smear campaign against me. And what I think is really disturbing is that Robert Shinn has now employed somebody to send photographs from my neighborhood to a fake account without a crystal balls. It's without a crystal balls. She also goes by balls. He thinks if he sends threats or if his spam accounts and his content creators that are working for him send threats to Kelly Wilking, Melanie Wilking, me, exposing 7M, stop culting, anything. He literally thinks that people will stop.
During this time, 7M and Stop Culting was reached out to and asked if they were experiencing threatening messages, but they denied receiving threatening messages. Without a crystal ball, falsely accused me, as you can see, and a few other content creators of agreeing to help Robert Shinn. Help Robert Shinn with what? I have no idea. Till this day, I'm still waiting for her response as to what I agreed to help Robert Shinn with. I have never been in contact with him, never spoken to him, never seen him. So When this agreement was made, I have no idea. Only without a crystal ball knows. These documents that she is reading, all the factual allegations, is documents from a case in California that involves members of Shekinah Church. Again, Shekinah Church is not suing without a crystal ball. Robert Shinn, who is the owner of 7M Management, is suing without a crystal ball. Miranda and James Derrick, who are the dancers affiliated with 7M, are suing without a crystal ball. Two totally different entities.
It's heartbreaking for anyone to endure what she alleges happened to her. She alleges that her entire life was controlled, that he essentially controlled where she lived, controlled access to a car, controlled the food that she ate, controlled the jobs that she had because he was her employer. And then she also alleges that he coerced her into a relationship that was not consensual and that involved what she calls SA. Her counts against him include her being alleged to have been asked to have sex with another member in order for them to get access to something that other member had. I think it was something to do with music or something. I'm not totally sure. But each specific member has allegations, and a lot of these people's claims overlap one another in terms of like the same issues happening to each member, but different variations of the same thing, essentially. And within the lawsuit, they are being sued for fraud, promissory fraud, and human trafficking. So Alicia is actually alleging that Robert, Shirley, and Hannah and Shekinah trafficked her because she was denied liberty by them individually. They controlled her life, was extremely limited by them. Who exerted control over her finances, housing, food intake, sexual activity, jobs, and more. They claim she alleges she was coerced into performing services, having her liberty restrained by means of a plan or scheme enacted by them. She did not perform she believed and was told that if she did not obey them, she would be disobeying him and would suffer serious harm. She also alleges that when she tried to leave, his wife Hannah assaulted her physically. She has claims here of aiding and abetting human trafficking, forced labor, breach of voluntary armed fiduciaries, aiding and abetting, intentional infliction of emotional distress. It goes on and on. There's gender violence in here, workplace harassment, aiding and abetting workplace harassment. And she went through the California Department of Labor. She filed a notice for a lawsuit. She went through the CRD and she got a right to sue notice. And then the others also went through their process and they've joined this lawsuit collectively. They were supposed to go to trial last summer. It got delayed. And so here we are today where he has an active case in California where a group of members are suing him, alleging all of these things. He has denied these claims and he has filed he filed a lawsuit against them, essentially claiming that they stole his hard drive, some sort of allegations by Alicia, portraying this coercion, but he claims it was a consensual relationship. He filed a lawsuit after she had sent him a demand letter where she was seeking a settlement from him, which he denied. And that's a requirement in the state of California that's done before a lawsuit is filed.
I have nothing against these women from Shekinah Church. Their allegations towards Robert Shinn. I truly hope that they get their day in court and get the justice that they seek. Again, these are allegations from women who attended Shekinah Church. She, without a crystal ball, did not mention any of the dancers from 7M Management. And why did she not read her lawsuit? Why didn't she go over the claims of defamation that they have stated against her? Manipulative move on her part. She is deceiving her audience, leading them as to what members of the church have accused him of. Yet, there are no allegations from any of the dancers of 7M, like the allegations made about Robert Shinn by the female members of the church. You saw the messages I read from her thinking she was communicating with Hannah Shinn. She asked, "Is Miranda giving massages yet?" She, in my opinion, is doing the same thing that Blake Lively did to Justin Baldoni.
So here we are. And at the same time this was going on, he sues me for defamation. The documentary is made by Netflix. And in court today, I kept thinking, what sources don't I have? I'm telling you that there are allegations here. I'm pointing to the people who have made them. I'm telling you the law documents that they are filed in. And I'm also telling you that he denies these allegations. Correct? Correct. I felt like I was in bizarro world. Now, everything became a lot more escalated when in July of 2025, the federal government executed a raid on his property in Tahunga, California, which is outside of Los Angeles in the San Fernando Valley. Robert has told the court that I am the cause of the federal investigation, and yet somehow multiple agencies involved in this investigation I've never spoken to. So public reports from Los Angeles documented this raid. ABC7 shared video of their helicopter flying over. They received a statement from El Monte Police. The Los Angeles Times received a statement from the United States Postal Service alleging that this raid was being done by the IRS, the United States Postal Service inspections, the U.S. Department of Labor, and the FBI. And then the local police helped with SWAT for the raid. According to Robert's own attorneys in that lawsuit I just mentioned, his attorneys have told the court that 5 properties were raided, that Two people in this case have received letters from the federal government stating one is a target and one is the subject. Further, on the date of the raid, $105,000 was seized from Robert Shinn by the United States Postal Service and seized under the civil law that the money was a byproduct of a criminal activity, a federal crime. And so it was subject to forfeiture. Robert is a target of a federal investigation per his own attorneys, and he has a forfeiture per his own attorneys. And then a public forfeiture notice was published on forfeiture.gov in the fall of 2025, documenting the seized money. Robert and his wife then petitioned and asked for their money back from the government, and the government declined. And so they filed a complaint, and they are going now through the process of going through court to see if they can get their money back. And so a claim was made on the money by both him and his wife, Hannah, both represented by separate attorneys, and they entered into a stipulated agreement with the federal government that the federal government will file a complaint in federal court, so a civil lawsuit of forfeiture, and/or file an indictment from a grand jury, and then fold the forfeiture into the indictment itself by April 6th of 2026. This is an agreed to stipulation between the United States Central District of California prosecuting U.S. attorneys and Shinn and his wife. All of that is documented. It's all sourced. And yet his attorney said that I have no sources for anything that I've said. A federal government posting a forfeiture notice, also posting a joint stipulation, and then his own attorneys in California saying that multiple people have been subject of grand juries. There have been multiple grand jury subpoenas. There's an active grand jury into this case. A grand jury is the vehicle that the United States district attorneys use when they are working on their investigation to seek an indictment. Individuals can be subpoenaed, so personal people can be subpoenaed, but also the grand juries have subpoena power, so they can get bank records, they can get tax records, they can ask witnesses to come in to testify. And these are all based upon reports that were made by people that have alleged that they were victims of crimes. Not by me, but people involved that are victims of this crime. I am not a victim of Robert Shinn. I cannot cause any of this to happen.
It is absolutely laughable the way she confidently states now that she is not a victim of Robert Shinn. But all this time, she has been claiming to be a victim of Robert Shinn. How Robert Shinn is targeting her. Here's another example. I am on camera sometimes, but after the release of Netflix doc that I worked on in summer of 2024, I was swatted and the police were here several times. I had to file a report with the FBI because they also filed a false report against me with the FBI. I am also being sued by the subject of that documentary, and he is currently under federal investigation for sex trafficking and related crimes. We still don't know who made all the reports, but until this is all resolved, I've been lying low. I do hope that there will be federal charges soon. The feds have until April 2026 to charge him or file a forfeiture complaint to recover the money they seized in the July 2025 raid. I don't know if he was involved in any of the events that transpired in the summer of 2024, but I do know that he won't drop his lawsuits against me, and I have to go to court in a few weeks, and he is ordered to be there, which I don't know if he will show up. Well, as you guys know by now, Robert Shinn absolutely did show up. Without a crystal ball became so desperate to have Robert Shinn arrested, she put up a post on her Instagram asking her followers to contact the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office. And as you can see, she states they have a file that is just sitting, waiting for them to charge Robert. How would she know all this information? By her saying that, it seems like she was in communication with someone, and they told her that there is a case filed regarding Robert Shinn, but probably they need more. And also, she gives all the necessary information for people to contact the DA's office. This is just my opinion. Do I think that Without a Crystal Ball had anything to do with that raid? Yes. She has a lot to lose. When this lawsuit was first filed, the plaintiffs were seeking nearly $40 million in damages. Now, they're asking for over $1 million. She would absolutely be able to afford $1 million if she lost, because as you heard her say, she has made millions on YouTube. Again, this is just my opinion. She also said how she contacted law enforcement and the FBI got involved, but she said law enforcement ghosted her. Another side note, law enforcement did not ghost her. Maybe she didn't have the evidence to back up her claims. And I say that because there is another channel here on YouTube that got the transcripts of her meeting with the FBI and law enforcement, and the way this creator read those transcripts was so entertaining. I promise you will not be disappointed. I will have it linked below. She tried every avenue for law enforcement to notice Robert Shinn and have him arrested. But unfortunately, she failed. And I do think that she called in those SWATs herself, on herself, and the calls to CPS. Now, remember I told you how she admitted that she reported Todd Chrisley to law enforcement for witness intimidation against his daughter, and she was protecting her friend. Well, this time she has a lot on the line to pay out millions. So why wouldn't she be the one to report Robert Shinn to any of these agencies and have this raid happen and have him arrested? Again, just my opinion. I don't think anyone else had anything to lose, but without a crystal ball. But if he did get arrested, she would have a whole lot to gain. Her lawsuit would have disappeared, and I think she feels that Miranda would have gone back to her parents and she would have looked like the hero.
So when the raid happened, ABC7 said that the raid was related to an investigation into alleged sex trafficking and mail fraud and COVID-19 pandemic related fraud and tax evasion. So it was like a wide net that they were looking at, and 5 properties were raided. Robert is under investigation, and in a court today told a judge, had his attorney tell a judge, that I am a danger to them. Essentially, that's just me spitballing, but that I'm a threat to them because I have reported on this situation and I have accused him of sex crimes. I have not accused Robert Shinn of any sex crime. Robert Shinn has been accused by other women of sex crimes, not me. Robert Shinn has denied those allegations. I feel like I'm in a bizarro world right now where upside is down, left is right. And they have said that no matter what I do, any statements I make going forward will be part of the ongoing defamation against them. It almost feels like I'm in the Justin Baldoni case, and this is like the ongoing smear campaign, right? And they've now filed a new and amended complaint. They think they're going to add like 100 new statements I made. They're using statements that have been made in the last year. The problem is that Minnesota has a SLAPP law called anti-SLAPP. And so statements made after May 2024 are protected under the anti-SLAPP legislation. And so my First Amendment rights are being threatened. And Robert Shinn has used the First Amendment to win other lawsuits or have other claims essentially dismissed against him because he has freedom of religion, right? There was a case against him by a woman named Lydia Chung. She was not successful due to statute of limitations, unclean hands, and there was issues about the First Amendment and how churches manage their churches and their funding. He denied any wrongdoing, but Lydia's lawsuit alleges many of the same issues that these other people have alleged against him. I'm not going to be silenced. I'm not going to be bullied. It was really difficult to be in a room with them, and it was difficult to see him, but now having seen him, I'm not scared of him. I'm not scared of his wife, and I'm certainly not scared of Miranda and James. I only would hope that Miranda and James can find happiness and get their careers back on track and do what they love, because I know that they both were doing what they loved before all of this went down. And I hope that Miranda and James also know that they are not under investigation by the federal government. And I truly hope that there's a resolution for the individuals impacted, so that if there are charges to be made and that an indictment can be sought, that it's obtained and that the people that are alleging that they have been harmed get justice. And I hope at some point in time, a judge in Minnesota will see that I've done nothing wrong and that I'm going to stick this out and I'm going to keep talking and I'm going to talk because it matters and I want to be an example to all of you. So I have my Venmo, my PayPal, and my Cash App. I'll share in links in the description in my pinned comment if you'd like to help with continued legal fees in this case.
I personally think that Without a Crystal Ball has been living in bizarro world for quite some time. When she was telling the internet that once the docuseries comes out, that her lawsuit will go away. Well, the docuseries came out, yet the lawsuit is still ongoing. Isn't accusing someone of sex trafficking a sex crime? Going back to the communication Without a Crystal Ball had, where she thought that she was communicating with Hannah Shinn, and she asked if Miranda is giving massages yet. And then she made this post accusing James Derrick of allowing another man to use his wife, who is Miranda Derrick, as a sacrificial lamb. Ladies, if your husband ever allows another man to use you as a sacrificial lamb to fight his battles, divorce him now. Every partner should fight and protect their spouse and not allow another man to use their spouse as a pawn in a game while also placing her in harm's way of an alleged serial rapist and sex trafficker. She was absolutely referring to Robert Shinn in that post. And then we have this post: human trafficking is a federal and state crime. Is she accusing James Derrick of human trafficking? With her using the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively lawsuit, Her situation is nothing compared to what Justin Baldoni is facing. What is happening with her and her lawsuit resembles what Lively did to Justin Baldoni. Do a little bit of research. She's talking about her First Amendment rights. Are you kidding me? Defamation is not protected by the First Amendment. When she first started reporting on the story, she came in contact with Lydia Chung, who I have mentioned before. She sued Robert Shinn. And when plans were being made in regard to the docuseries, Without a Crystal Ball disposed of Lydia Chung. And Lydia Chung exposed it on social media. This person named Mama Creature is Lydia Chung, and she says to Without a Crystal Ball, Katie Joy, stop being manipulative and fabricate the fact by making up things. You did not help me. I could have done through social media with my daughter, Feral Creature, to tell the story and getting the exposure if I wanted to make myself known. Also, I was already getting a lot of interest from producers. Calls were coming in so much in a way. I did not answer. It was not my intention to be in film like you and Melanie. I was disgusted about you and Melanie's wrong motive. You gather information of me and others, people's pain and suffering, and you put yourself as an advisory position in documentary. Now, people, English is Lydia's second language. I found out you were in advisory position. I met producer, you were connected. You were selling other people's pain and used that to bring you in position and getting paid. I was disgusted. You did not help anyone. You used it for yourself to gain exposure for you. There are so much more you do not know. You truly do not understand the pain and suffering my family had to go through. The impossible battle I faced, fighting from 2010 as a single minority woman fight against the category under religion. It was a choice between the life and death. I decided not to allow you people, you and Melanie, to sell my suffering and pain for your gain. Because it was not about telling the truth and justice. It was for you and your people's ambition and greed. I did not have to tell you and Melanie that everyone bears fruit of their motive and action. I will pray for you to change your heart and walk in the right way and do the right things in the earth. You only have a short time to live in the earth. Make a right decision and live right. Be the light to others. She then goes on to say, thank you for changing the tone of your voice for audience. There are others who seek for true justice for years. I pray for you to align yourself to the right path. Well, as you can see, Without a Crystal Ball tries to redeem herself. She says at Mama Creature, hi Lydia, I was there and even helped set up a meeting between Jessica and Tim with you. There were multiple discussions to bring you into the series. I recall that you signed with HBO. Even after HBO dropped the series, I recall that you didn't want to appear in the series. We would have loved to have your story shared along with many others. To which she responds again, your pain and trauma is very valid. Not a single person in this cult deserves to be abused. My heart goes out to you. My hope is this series will motivate law enforcement to finally arrest Robert. This is who Without a Crystal Ball is, and Lydia Chung expressed it perfectly in her messages. Without a Crystal Ball is never about the victims. It's always about her. What's in it for her? The attention, the pat on the back, and I do feel so bad for Lydia because Lydia Chung, in my opinion, was Without a Crystal Ball stepping stone into the story. Lydia Chung shared sealed court documents Without a Crystal Ball, probably trying to explain her journey and what she went through with Robert Shinn. So, in order to validate herself, Without a Crystal Ball read those sealed documents on a live.
8 hours a day, 6 days a week, plus overtime. They did a minimum wage, and they said that she wasn't paid $30,000. Then from January 2007 to August of 2007, they said that she owed them $13,000. So on top of not taking all of her money and taking $3.8 million from her, they made her work for them for free. And then they didn't pay her. And all of her labor went to help their family and be enriched. So someone told me that Robert rents a 5,000 square foot home, which, just so you guys realize, that home that they film at isn't a mansion. I mean, 5,000 square feet it's a large house, but it's not a mansion. It's not a California mansion by any means. It's big enough to give you the idea that it's rich, but he is spending, someone told me, $12,000 a month to stay there alone. And then the kids are going there and filming at his house to songs that he picks, and they're dancing for him. How fucked up is that?
This video is already long. Let me end with saying, Without a Crystal Ball claims that she is an independent journalist. No independent journalist would lie. I have never ever seen or heard any journalist, independents, regular journalist, ever report on hearsay. And Without a Crystal Ball lied in this video. She failed to let her audience know, the same audience that she is asking for help to pay these legal fees. She failed to let them know the accusations made against her. And these are just the last 3 pages of the plaintiff's amended complaint. And if you look at it, it ends at 212. Now, if you are a supporter of Without a Crystal Ball and she is asking for help to pay her legal fees, wouldn't you want to know the truth? Wouldn't you want to know the allegations against her? From the get-go, Without a Crystal Ball has said as fact that these dancers are in a cult.
It's about a group of dancers that have been taken in by a cult.
Again, the plaintiffs have listed 212 statements from Without a Crystal Ball that they feel is defamatory. At the end of the day, it's going to be up to the jury. I have shown clips of a few accusations that she made against Robert. Another example is how she accused Robert of being like Kim Jong-un.
And this isn't North Korea. I've been struggling with this part of it so hard, you guys, and I just want to be honest. The victims I speak to are Korean, and some of them are immigrants. And for a lot of them, it reminds them of home and how North Korea treats their people. And they've said that it's like he's emulating Kim Jong-un.
This was the start of Without a Crystal Ball's downward spiral, and her feeling that she can say anything. There is so much more that she had done, like how she got brand deals revoked. She would put posts like this on social media. I wonder if Miranda thinks she's sponsored by @Drink Prime. I'm guessing this more fake advertising by Robert Shinn. Also, Dear Toyota, you are supporting a cult, and she states, brands need to know who they are involved with, and it's why it's super important for people to speak out. Brands do not want any connections to abuse or the appearance of mind control or human trafficking. Internet, do your thing. Confirmed ad with @Forever21 and Forever 21 Men. Pull this ad, Forever 21, and stop supporting Robert Shinn's cult. So Without a Crystal Ball claims that these dancers are in a cult. This is not how you treat people who you feel are in a cult. This will just make them stay exactly where they are, because this proves to them that the outside world is cruel. And this, what Katie Joy did to these dancers by getting them cancelled, by getting their sponsorships cancelled, is so cruel. And Without a Crystal Ball should know this so well, because she covered the Duggars, sister wives, which she refers to as a cult. So why is she treating these victims of a cult this way? I remember at one point, I still have the screenshot, Without a Crystal Ball actually posted this. She says, just a Midwest mama dismantling cults, one post at a time. This video must be at an hour already. I will have screenshots of posts by Without a Crystal Ball. You guys can actually pause to read them. What I have shown in this video does not even scratch the surface of the atrocious stuff she has done to these victims. Believe those words typed by Lydia Chung. Without a Crystal Ball does not give a fuck about victims. I have reported on her for years. She only cares about herself, what benefits her. If you go and you do your research on Without a Crystal Ball, your jaw will be on the floor. She is ruthless, cunning, fake, manipulative, and she has a reputation of being polarizing and problematic. You would not believe how she tried to set smaller creators like me up with crimes in this lawsuit that she's involved in. It is absolutely mind-blowing. Again, do your research, people. A reminder, I will have the link to Southern Mutton's channel for you guys if you want to catch up on the filings related to this defamation lawsuit regarding Without a Crystal Ball. And also, I will have EKC People Sucks channel. She is the one that requested the transcripts of Without a Crystal Ball meeting with the FBI and other law enforcement. She did an amazing job, and you will see how Without a Crystal Ball tried to set up smaller creators. Without a Crystal Ball is not a good person. You would think that Without a Crystal Ball at least learned something from her previous 2 defamation lawsuits that she was involved in, and how it affected her family emotionally and financially. Clearly she did it because here she is with her 3rd defamation lawsuit. Unfortunately, this time around, she has no choice to settle, because her lawyer did try by asking the plaintiffs to settle, not in such a nice way. You will see from the screenshot. And the plaintiffs refused. Let me leave you guys with this. Without a Crystal Ball had no idea that her lawsuit was filed to the court in Minnesota. And when 2 other content creators, Emily D. Baker and Uncivil Law, were covering it online, she came online and lost her shit. Check this out.
Ooh, I'm shiny. I'm just going to come on here for a second. You can join me. I want to be 100% clear right now. Like 100%. I'm not going to mess around. I'm not going to be silly or funny. I'm going to be real here. My lawsuit is not filed in court. It is not filed in court. I will show you that it is not filed in court. Not one person has reached out to me to ask for a copy of the lawsuit. How then do all of these YouTubers have the lawsuit? Who did they get the lawsuit from? Because it is not filed in court.
No, I pulled it directly from the state of Minnesota's court website, myself, personally. It's on the docket. So I don't really know what to tell you. It's filed. It's on the docket. I pulled it myself. So it's got a docket number and everything. Someone tell Katie Joy she's wrong. Someone tell Katie Joy she's wrong. It's filed.
So this is the proof of service filed in the district court, state of Minnesota, 4/5/22, 9:36 a.m. So what? Yesterday morning. This is their notice that they get. I again love the water stamping. You are being sued.
Anyone speaking about this lawsuit communicated with the cult. Is that who you want to be following? Do you want to follow someone that will willingly take a lawsuit from a man like Robert? Because this is not filed in court. This was a pocket service. There is no court record. We are not under the jurisdiction of a court. They got the lawsuit from the cult, not from me. It's not in court. There is no case number, no judge. It has not been filed in court. If you are a YouTuber and you are talking about this case, you did not get it from me.
I pulled it directly from the state of Minnesota's court website, myself. It's on the docket. It's filed.
You are being sued.
Because we didn't give you this. We didn't give you this. If you have a copy of it, that means you got it from Robert or you got it from 7M. It's not filed in court. It's called pocket service. That means you can't go online and find this. That means you can't download this from the court. No, they have not filed anything in court. We have not been notified of it being filed in court. So you guys got this not from the court.
No, I pulled it directly from the state of Minnesota's court website, myself.
This was sent to my home. They showed up at my home with the lawsuit. This is called pocket service. Pocket service in the state of Minnesota means from the date that you file, you have 1 year, or from you draft the lawsuit, you have 1 year to file it with the court.
So this is the proof of service filed in the district court, state of Minnesota, 4/5/22, 9:36 a.m.
It hasn't been filed. They requested injunctions, but that doesn't mean it's been filed. You can put anything in a complaint, but it hasn't been filed. Like, do you want to argue with me? Because I'm the party here.
Looks like the party was late to their own party.
So if you knew about this lawsuit ahead of time, that means you were speaking to the cult. If you knew about this and you have these documents, that means you're speaking to the cult. If you're reporting on this and you have the documents, you're in bed with the cult. You can be in bed with the cult and on the wrong side, again, like you always are, Emily, or you can be on the right side.
Hold on to your pearls, people, because here it comes. She is going to go off on Emily D. Baker.
I am so tired of Emily Baker. She has made my life hell for 2 years. I don't even talk about her on my channel. She has done every one of my lawsuits, and she acts like they're the biggest deal in the fucking world. None of them have gone anywhere. When I was being sued by Tati Westbrook, she convinced people that I was going to go to jail for civil contempt and that I was destroying evidence when I wasn't destroying evidence. And she also slandered my attorney. She made mockeries of the judge. She gave the judge a nickname. Mind you, she is a she's a bar licensed attorney in the state of California, and she was disparaging a fellow bar attorney. When you're an officer of the court, ethically, you are not supposed to disparage or slander other officers of the court. I know that she's going to get it. And someone told me she's been live. So if Emily has it, if any other channel has it, I don't understand how anyone can take Emily seriously when she's on her channel cursing, saying facts, not fuckery, and she's not licensed in the state of Tennessee. So she's playing an attorney, but she's not licensed in the state that she works in or that she's in. She, in the state of Tennessee, cannot give legal advice. Unless she's in the state of California, she cannot practice law. I don't care about Emily. I don't watch Emily. Emily can have a great life. I just wish Emily would stop talking about me.
Here comes the threat.
I just want to remind you, Emily Baker, we almost filed a complaint with the bar. We almost sued you. We're still in the statute of limitations to sue you for what you did last year. So just remember that. I can still file a lawsuit against you at any time, Emily, for what you did. And we can still file a bar complaint against you. So we've asked you to stop and you don't. And if you are going to be on the side of the cult, it's not the right side to be on. Emily spread a narrative that I sent death threats. She spread a narrative that I was stalking people and harassing them. She made people believe that I was going to be arrested for destroying evidence. She was actually in a little group that was like behind the scenes doing stuff, kind of following me. She was really close to the prosecution's or the plaintiff's attorney. And when we attempted to reach out with her to share our side, she refused to speak with us. She didn't have to speak with us, but she was trying to say that her coverage was unbiased, but she wasn't because she was getting information directly from the plaintiff's side and not from us. Here come all her fucking fans. So legally speaking, what I have is it's a lawsuit. It's just not in court. I have zero interest on going on Emily's channel. There's nothing to defend. Anyone that takes the lawsuit, that 7M, seriously, needs psychological help. You need psychological help if you are defending 7M. You need psychological help if you are defending the claims that they're making. And you need psychological help if you're on that side. Yes, I have a production team. And uncivil law, if he pulled it from the court, he got it before we did. I'm not mad at uncivil law. Like, I really don't care. Emily and uncivil, what I would encourage you to do is start digging into the lawsuits that have been filed against Robert Shinn.
It's not interesting to me. I'm a legal analysis channel. To go dig into Robert Shinn, well, I mean, I guess I could go dig into lawsuits involving Robert Shinn or cases that involve Robert Shinn, but this one came to my attention, and we'll analyze this one.
He wants an injunction for me to remove everything about him online. That's hilarious. You can't force someone to remove things that are like not true or that are true. Like, people have a right to have an opinion online. I don't know if that makes anyone else. I don't know if it was anyone else.
She had no idea that a lawsuit was filed in court. She was losing her shit. If these content creators, Emily D. Baker and Uncivil Law, did not cover the filings, when was she going to find out that a lawsuit was filed in court? Also, if you are not on her side, or no side at all, you're automatically on the side of the cult. You need psychological help, according to the crystal ball. As I have said, I have not even scratched the surface as to what she said and had done to these victims over the past 4 years. I just needed to prove that she lied to her audience, saying that she did not defame him or spread falsehoods about him, when, in my opinion, she did. She accused him of sex trafficking, human trafficking, and everything else in between. Why did she have to lie? Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video, especially with it being so long. I appreciate you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Please be safe out there. Be kind to one another, and don't forget, make good memories. Bye, guys.